Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake. I'm going to include a really wonderful tape by Barbara Marcianic. We played it in the car when we were driving through snow, and I'm playing the remainder of it now, and I'm just floored because it's just perfect. It fleshes so well with what I have come to understand this fine day. And so I want to just capsulize my little experience, and then I want to channel because they want to come through. This process has really been stunning and surprising, and very, very discreet. There have been very discreet stages the last about 2.5, 3 weeks. But really, after the 5th, it was just a different reality. I'm different. And for many reasons that I have explained ad infinitum, I had this thing with boundaries and not knowing who I was, what I project, those kind of things. And through the process, I have a new astrological chart with which I can, see this bigger me that seems to have been in charge the whole time. I'm in agreement with that new natal chart. It feels good. But I haven't really explored the astrology of it. I've held off on that, and I think it's because of this delicious day. I had a very profound understanding after seeing Kaipacha. Wow. Excuse me, it was like the first minute. There was an image that just blew my mind. And that whole thing was so synchronous. And it's just become a time of really blessing and releasing this beautiful, vital, on time and appropriate lifetime that I lived, the expression I lived. I'm going to just review it one last time. This little solar angel of Pisces, conjunct Mercury and Chiron. I don't know if Chiron's retrograde, but he's hanging around, and they're looking right across, they're opposite my North Node, my Ascendant, and Pluto retrograde. Woo! Venus in Aries, the Moon similarly afflicted, I think Gemini. I forget where Mars is. Saturn is so afflicted. Well, Jupiter is. Saturn holds Jupiter down. It's all there, and the synastry of the lives that are entangled amplify these themes of light and dark, good and bad, identity. That's just so beautiful. And you've watched a process of me discovering this signature and wrestling with it. And now I was driving home and thinking, wow, this really is like the real deal. There's just stuff I don't even think about anymore. I notice its absence, though. I'm in that phase. And it's rock solid and super, why would I want to think anything else kind of feeling. Really positive. And so the question really came down to, really, what do I want to focus on? And it was a question that was posed to me. What's the focus? It's come to me when listening to the media that I would choose. Now I have an auxiliary cable, but I didn't before in my car. And I listen to, adult indie, college rock, and it's mainly about painful relationships. Some of it is about, none of it's about reaching higher. It's all wrapped in sadness usually. There's a lot of loss, a lot of love songs basically. And I stopped listening to that stuff a long time ago. I decided I really can. This content doesn't relate, is not relevant to my reality, so what else can I listen to? And it sort of was making my own magic. So I listened to Curtan music, lots of different stuff. And then I fell in love. And music that had heart to it, that was talking about relationships, was really super, like, really intense. Really intense. For quite a long time. And now it's like, whether I'm in a relationship or not, I'd like to hear songs about relationships that work out. I'd like to hear songs about love received and accepted. I'd like to hear those kind of songs. That's what I decided. And then I realized, it is about focus. I don't really have to mention any kind of qualifiers anymore. And my profile is so cute. I realized on the drive home, wait a minute, I did that mistake again. I was told to just write down the description, and I felt really funky about what I did, but I didn't understand why until, I was driving. I just went, whoa, because I thought that was what you're supposed to do. Well, what are you going to save? And what I found was I was intimidating people. And then the question is, okay, am I okay with that? And I drove home thinking, I can tone it down. I worked hard to get here. I'm a freaking multi-dimensional goddess, for goodness sake. I'm smart, and I'm sexy, and I'm motherly, and I'm complex, and I'm a saint and a sinner, and I'm a visionary, and I'm all those things. And all those things are just the beginning. They're all just expressions of this ascension mystery. And I realized, I'm a bigger me than I was. It happened. Seemingly overnight. I'm just bigger. And I don't really have to concentrate on all that sadness anymore. At a certain point, it defined me. It defined me. It explained me. And it comforted me. I was a death walker. I was a hospice nurse. I was a nurse. And I suffered long and hard. Notice all the past tense? Well, that's a pretty amazing little thing that just, is coming to pass, isn't it? Golly, it was really good a thing that it got recorded, isn't it? Woo! So now comes the part of putting it all together and being cool with it. And having that new natal chart helps a little bit. Sure do. But so does, I think, writing some lists. Really spending some time doing things that are really self-respectful. And I'm gonna start playing the prosperity game. So I'll end my part with that, and then I'm gonna have them come through. Okay? They're right here. So my friend Elizabeth is doing the prosperity game. And this is how it goes. All right. It doesn't matter if you got $10 in your pocket and no source of income in sight. It doesn't matter. It don't matter. In this game, every single day, you get $1,000 more than the day before, and you start with $1,000. So I have $1,000 to spend, and yeah, you got to spend it all. Every day. Now, I don't think that I'm not going to use this to inflame my consumerism. I do it to free my soul, to free my mind, to create, to live in expansiveness. Because for me, this practice will also include doing one thing each day that I don't even, talk about. I just do. That gives somebody else a break, or helps them, or lightens their load, or that they don't expect. Just a good deed. And I have to do one of those for me too. every single day. An act of generosity for somebody else and one for me. Now I know how generosity spreads. I know about having nothing and being inflamed with this desire to give, knowing it's the way home. And sure enough, it was, way back in 2012. And so I can start doing that like I've seen other people model that I like so much. Just being unselfish, just doing an unselfish act. And that relieves the complaining that other people aren't doing it. At least I am. At least I am. I'm not waiting. I'm not going to wait anymore. It doesn't have to be moving the whole mountain. I'm just going to move a teaspoon of dirt a day. For now. So it looks like fun, huh? And it's just imagination. And so I know exactly what I'm going to do with my first grand. And I feel so good doing it. And then from there, who knows? What would you do if somebody handed you a grand? And the only edict was you got to spend it. Because you know why? There's more coming. And the way that you get more is by spreading what you've got. Spreading joy with it. Using it to give yourself pleasure and to share with the group things that bring you satisfaction. What's wrong with that? I ask you, anything? I can't see one ding dang thing. Isn't that nice? Yes, it's very nice indeed. Okay, so it's 12:05, 12:06. Okay. So, what we're to say is about the theory of validity, which is the idea that many of you will be going through. We've talked about it before, a bit of cognitive dissonance. When your foundations are shaken, and it can be kind of scary, okay? And there are those who have gone through it profoundly, and those who have gone through it mildly, but who have gained the beauty that is gained, whether it's done rough or smooth, okay? Can you not see that the one before you was keyed for this, okay? An ancient, and someone to just give some guidance for the future. Isn't that nice? And it's not done, of course, by saying, hey, you should go do this. It is done by doing it, okay? So that's a nice thing to have, but we want to talk to you about this. There is a text. It is under the umbrella of coherence, which is a quantum approach to the sciences, and it's a ways off. It is a temple, this temple of coherence, and within it there is a study of you can call it ascension psychology, you can call it anything you'd like. One of the tools that is used is this one, but each in their own way. There are other tools, many tools, and we have only referred to them. We have not explained. We've discussed that this theory of validity is much like a disinfectant. And this again is easier to live than to state as an edict. What is validity, we ask? We would say a very good word for this is intactness, wholeness, completeness. intact. Yes. We asked the one before you, while puttering out in her kitchen, when are you healed? When? How does that work? We would like you to consider. We had much to say about this, and the final word though is, I'll bet you guessed it already. You are healed when you say you are healed. Only you know. When it's complete, only you know. But what we would like to explain is that this validity, well, you know, it is hard won. And it's not so much a mantle that is placed upon you that allows you to have an amnesia of the old way. No. Validity is being able to understand. You are always, and as a human expression, as a biological expression, you have free will. As such, your validity is inviolate. Can you not see? It is the extent to which one uses free will, we say. We would say this indeed correlates quite well with the light quotient. Do you understand? The more light you contain, the more able and willing you are to acknowledge the will, free choice of self and of other. This is, of course, sovereignty. This is a byproduct of DNA activation. So, it always comes back to the DNA, you know, and that always comes back to quantum thoughts and expressions. So, what do we have to say? It has to do today with a time that some are upon now, having done much work and being ready and being cosmonauts and all that kind of thing, psychonauts and all that kind of thing, right? So there's always going to be some, and these are the ones who, you know, there are things going on celestially and energetically which will continue to be quite profound on biology of all. But the ones who are keyed for this will have more radical changes. That is all. They are prepared. They're impatient. They are impatient. So, yes. We would like to point out that, you know, the solar eclipse was August 21. It is now October 8. That is a time lag, is it not? Why didn't people burst into whatever, little angel wings or whatever? Why wasn't there a show? Why wasn't there? And why didn't that happen on the 2012? And why? Well, you know, this one doesn't work that way. She understands because she's been through it. There is a shift, and it is possible for the biology to feel it immediately and to have it never be the same, and to have this be fine with the biology. There's a change in mentation, the whole 9 yard. Sometimes this is delivered during and after an illness, and sometimes it's just walking down the street. Depends. But there are waves of energy that change the geometries, and depending on which reality, which frequency one is gliding upon. Okay, so we have to say something about this frequential mismatch that has been discussed. This is a very interesting phenomenon which will become more evident. And what we must say about this is that the ones who are emitting such things, they will feel a little bit uncomfortable, because the ones around them may feel different feelings, and it may be a different experience for all. Because, whether the words are said, whether the blessing is given or not, the energy is run. All feel it. When there's a transmitter in the room, all feel it. And some are inflamed with many things that are expected. And this is why we urge people who are running light to be in the first layer, to be in the layer of their being, their core. Alright? Do not be troubled by the reactions of others. People are dealing with their unworthiness, they are dealing with their fear. And it is a misunderstanding to think that running such beautiful and clear energy is harmful. It must stop. We must get rid of this thinking. Ow, you hurt me because you surprised me with an energy I was not ready for. Well, the edict was to do no harm. The edict was to keep it low. The edict was to not upset. The edict was to not be weird. The edict was to blend in. The edict was to pass. You must pass. And this must never break. Not even in your most tender moments. You must not divulge. No. This is much to lock away for a lifetime. And now that there is an integration in what is within is without, what is above is below, there are circles within circles, and there is completion. It must be understood that frequential mismatches are as healing as when they match up. When the feeling of, oh, I hurt someone, oh, they don't like me and I don't know why, but they don't like me, oh no, come up, we would suggest immediately to invite your beautiful heart to consider blessing them and sending them a puff of love. Whenever you feel that little sting of, oh, this energy is not so welcome here, better to be quiet and lay low. Well, this was also followed with a ding dang it. I wish things were different. I wish I went alone. Blah, blah, blah. No more. Give love. Understanding is not necessary. Frequential matches are not necessary. And we assure you, there is a frequency which soothes, relaxes, and disarms. We suggest you find it and run it for yourself. See how it feels. Play with it. See how steady it is, how easily it's called to you. Place it in your car. See it as a symbol without. Agree with your innate when the mind needs a spark of confidence, of strength, of courage, a reminder of the inner resolve, a reminder to come back into the core. Oh, there will be that symbol. You may have more than one symbol if you are able to do that. You may have a color. There are so many things to do now. Agreements. Free will and light quotient and DNA activation. How could they possibly be tied together? As the dark becomes self-aware, as the light beautifies and glorifies and intensifies itself in all it sees from a source unknown, well hidden, well loved, and deeply recognized. Things change quite rapidly. There are wild cards. There are wild cards. Live well each day. Be clear about your intention for your lifetime and for this day. And this is where we want to begin and end. Worth. Worth. Are you worthy to carry these keys? To carry your knowledge? To carry that lion's heart into a sea of people who may not understand? Oh, this is not to remind you of Bible prophecies of, hey, you're going to have a hard time. It's not like that. But we are saying, dear sensitive, you may not be ready for some of what you find happens. And a smile goes a long way when discovering aspects of themselves which will change the perceptions of the ones observing. We know we are cryptic. It's required. We say, from a place which is the ancient of days. Those on earth in human form stand as giants and are ready, have been ready, are prepared for what? A battle? For the next part, for being happy. We understand there are many light workers who are already happy. They are set, so to speak. They have figured out the koans. Their lives work and are expansive, based in love and grace all those they meet. Well, isn't that wonderful? It's good to have those who go before, is it not? Yes, it is. So, you know, the one before you thinks of herself as a laggard. Hey, my friends, they have the things that I want, that I know I have possible, but I'm in the story still. What am I to do? Well, you grow where you're planted, you do your job. and you wait. And you gain strength and purpose. But not only that, electromagnetically, biochemically, there is a polar shift. There is, as we would say, there are many layers to this, and there is what we would call a return. There is a return of energy, which can be related to intention, but which relates actually to high physics and geometry. Once the human being has put out the intention and the triggers are there, and the everything is all lined up, well then, boom, you have the event. And then you have a mysterious process. And then you have the return. You have the explosion of understanding and integration. It is great to have the knowledge. It is important to be able to live it. This is one of the purposes behind the lifetime before you. And can you not see the perfection of this? All of this light in Pisces, looking into the dark in Virgo, who will, through her beauty and rational mind, come to find a way to siphon all of this beautiful, beautiful solar energy into the grid, into the matrix of humanity, with the edict: if I cannot live it out, if it does not enhance my daily life, if it does not help me in some way, soothe me in some way, make things better, I do not want it. It must work under all circumstances. Quite the road tester, quite the field tester of all of this new energy. Well, this is one of those agreements which is finally passing. As such, the expression changes. And so it is very important to begin the work of this integration, the new integration, what you can call reintegration. Personality reintegration into something larger that the operating entity is in alignment with, an agreement with. It's a different path, different way of looking at life, different way of looking at life planning and death. Isn't it beautiful? So why not start, if you are in a place such as this, with a little list? Don't necessarily look at who you are. That's too broad. Break it down. Idealize it if you must. Look to the future. Consider everything done. Consider every lesson learned. Consider being sated on all levels. Now, who are you? What do you stand for? What do you like? What is your favorite color? What car do you drive? What music do you listen to? How do you spend a Saturday afternoon? It may sound like a little like a dating profile. You may do this, as an assignment or a homework thingy. Sure. Go to one. You can delete it. Write down who you are. It is a bit like being a child in a candy store. Everything is available, dear. Everything. Without worry of what the other even thinks. Who then are you? What do you like? If the opinions of the others for a time are muted, what fills your soul? What is an appropriate use of $50? What is a good way to spend a weekend? Is it what you wish to do? What you have done before? Or what is calling you from your heart? Does it matter? Does it make you feel better? Does it bring you hope? Does it remind you of happy days and a sense of being carefree? Well, if you're in a pickle in your life, what better thing than to adjust the thinking and realize there might be other answers. What you've seen is a very intense form of cognitive dissonance. Some of it has been filmed, some has not. The idea here is that each go through these, and they can be quite deep and philosophical, depending on what particular belief structure is at play, and it can get a little wobbly there between one way and another. This is why we ask you to take some time in the here and now and plan ahead. Think about, pretend everything's done. The things that make you cry, or make you run, or make you eat, or make you go online, or do any of the other things that take you away from this distress. Imagine it gone, okay? It's gone. Just for now. You may play this prosperity game, it's a very nice little thing, or you may just give yourself, go right to the kill. It's all done. Bathe. Just with that thought alone. And the problems that would crop up from having it all be done, those are done too. It's just done. Imagine it. It's easier to breathe, is it not? Pretend. Close your eyes. If you're in a tub, where is your bathtub? Is it in Greece? Is it in Kenya? Is it in Bali? Where would you prefer to be bathing? Feel it, smell it. Be there. We have told this one for a long time, you know. Shower stalls and bathtubs. They are time machines, they are portals. You can go far in a bath, you know. The water is the same everywhere. Pretend, imagine, allow, will. So, it is one thing to play and calm self, yes. It is another to strike intention. Oh, you may agree. You may agree to try. It is quite another to intend something. And so, describe all you want and use whatever radical framework you want. If you want a new natal chart, won't you give yourself permission to play with it? Good. And if you want no natal chart, imagine that. Or think of other ways that your body, your biology is coded, is overlaid with stricture in its structure. It is inappropriate to think that this is unhealable. You're already healed. You are already complete. You have the capacity to have DNA that functions at 100%, you know. Who are you to put limits on it when you don't even know how it works? Okay? There's much you don't know. It's alright to use your imagination. It's alright to escape whatever fear prison you are in. And it's alright to play. Play within that intactness. Play within the validity of you. Not just your expression. Not just your chosen way of saying this or that, or doing this or that. What you represent. What you would die for. What you would argue over. What you would pass by. What you long for. What you hold dear. We would say the time for considering what you long for, well, that's a little bit overdue, don't you think? Can we, to close, discuss longing? Oh, let us. It's a good one, and might heal the one before you. Longing. Longing. It's a part of faith, you know. It's a part of the religion. It is a part of having a sky god and salvation without longing. Well, you know, this one didn't have much hope in common man for companionship, so she longed for home. She knew it was there, that there were people there that she could trust. They didn't know how to lie, hadn't gotten hypnotized. She knew of home. Do you know of home? It can be found in music, poetry, a touch, a blossom, a tree. The love we have for you is everywhere. The love you have for yourself is self-evident, but hard to see, as blinded as many are by the overlays, just simple bandages over the eyes. This one has so many metaphors in her writing about being blind as a bat. Well, you know, it's nice when somebody walks in and says, hey, that bump you've seen on the wall that whole time, that's a light switch. It's just taped down. Want me to get it? You must be a ghost or an angel. I have been looking for that for a long time. No, I just can't see. This is a familiar situation to me. I was once you. Be slow in removing those bandages. Give your eyes time to adjust. Yes. Go slow. There's plenty of time now. There are many friends about. You do this for one another, and we do this for you. So, the time of discovery and the time of affirmation, celebration, acknowledgement, recognition, list making, bath taking, risk taking. Is there such a thing as a risk? What are you risking most of the time? Some ridicule? A bad reputation? Money loss? Well, risk. We say that there is a little bit of there is a little bit of the trickster in a risk. It's loaded with the trickster energy. So, alright, we'll drop that bomb on you and then we'll leave. How do you like that? Yes, okay. Yes. The pronouns, well, is it I or is it we? But there is much that this one did not understand or comprehend or be able to hang on to with what we say. Okay, that's frequential mismatch, dear. Honor it and giggle when someone reports it. In simple conversation, can't you see what's going on? This is a good thing. Alright, we are pleased to have been with you. Sienna.